A lot of people I know struggle with video editing because they have a hard time grasping one of the core concepts, and that is the goal of video editing. When it comes to video editing, you are trying to remove as much as possible. Now, this might seem strange. What do you mean, remove as much as possible? I mean this. I've never watched a video that wouldn't benefit from being a little bit shorter. People have short attention spans, and you want to get to just the good stuff. The goal here is to remove all of the bad takes, to get rid of the sound bites that don't help with the story, to only use the best parts. In a video, we often refer to something as shot ratio, the amount of footage that was captured versus how much was used in the finished piece. In the video we're working on today, we spent a lot of time working with singer Jason Massey. You can actually look up some of our other videos where we explore the production process and went into the field and captured this footage. But the truth of the matter is, we spent about 3 days working together. We went to different locations, such as a farm and to a concert hall. We sat down for an interview. Well, all of this footage took some time to capture. We, of course, were creating different elements, and today we're going to focus on a small web trailer. But what's important is I go to the parts that really matter. For example, in the interview, there are parts that are off topic or aren't a part of the story I want to tell. For every good shot, there was 2 or 3 other options that didn't necessarily work, and a whole bunch that definitely didn't work. The goal of video editing is for you to find those. Don't become so emotionally attached that you are unwilling to get rid of a shot. Just like in photography or graphic design, the crux is to get to the good stuff. You can have thousands of fonts on your system. It doesn't mean that every font should be used in every project. You might have hundreds of photos that you captured in a session, but only one of those is going to go on the magazine cover. Your job is to find the good stuff and to remove everything that's distracting. And along the way, try to whittle the video down so it's exciting and concise. One thing that I want you to feel assured about is that video editing is generally non-destructive. What I mean by this is you don't have to worry that when you remove something in the timeline that you deleted it on your hard drive. Every decision you make can be undone. If we are working in the timeline and we decide to trim away some media, marking an in point and an out point, and we extract it, it's still on the hard drive. If you delete a clip and change your mind, it's still in the bin and you can drag it back into the sequence. Even if you delete it from the project, it's still on your hard drive. So you don't have to worry so much about this. The decisions you make are very flexible. So it's not like the old days if you took a piece of film and cut it. Well, that was the original perhaps. Not a big deal. Everything you do is non-destructive. As such, don't be afraid to save backups along the way. By saving a version of your project, and if you change your mind, you can easily go back. If you're feeling like you want to experiment, duplicate the sequence and work with that copy, and know that the other one is waiting right there. You'll also find multiple levels of undo and even histories or versions that are automatically captured by Premiere Pro as you edit. This isn't to say that you shouldn't show care in saving your work from time to time, but a lot of the things you're worried about, you don't need to worry about. Everything you do is non-destructive, and it is a piece of cake to back up your work, because all you're saving is the instructions. The project file in Premiere Pro is very small. The media is very big, but it's those instructions that control the layout. So don't worry about having different versions or options. They are only going to take up a little bit of space on your disk drive and make it so much easier for you to experiment freely and not worry about losing your work. When it comes time to editing video, there are a few things you need to think about with your computer. First, make sure that your computer meets the system specs for Adobe Premiere Pro. You can find these specs listed on Adobe's website, and they have recommended specs that are a good idea to follow. The demands of editing video are much more robust than editing photographs or doing designs or illustration. So the computer that you use on a regular basis may not be video ready. Now, the good news is that many computers released are rated for video because editing video has become very popular. But here are some things to consider. Having enough RAM or memory is a good idea. This is one of the tasks that will fill up memory, so video editing is often reliant upon memory for performance. Additionally, your computer's graphics card is pretty heavily relied upon. Premiere Pro offloads much of its ability to the graphics card in your computer. So if your machine has an integrated graphics card and not a dedicated graphics card, you may see some performance issues. Speaking of graphics cards, make sure that your system is up to date and that your graphics card has the newest driver loaded. When you launch Premiere Pro, if there is a problem with your computer, it will often give you a system report that tells you the issue. I'm not saying you have to run out and buy a brand new computer, but don't be surprised if you're using an older computer if it's not quite ready for editing video, or if this is something you get into a lot, that it may be something that you want to upgrade your computer or step up to a newer computer at some point. Video editing is one of the most demanding tasks that you can place on a computer. Other things to think about besides RAM and a graphics card, a fast hard drive, and we'll explore this more a bit later. But having an SSD drive or a rated drive that uses a fast connection type like USB-C or Thunderbolt is a very good idea. This will significantly increase the speed of editing video and prevent your system from feeling bogged down or unresponsive. Lastly, consider the type of computer you're working on. It's a lot easier to get power out of a desktop computer. Now, I'm working with a laptop and it works just fine for me because it's a relatively new laptop. And even my laptops from 2016 are more than capable of editing video. But if you are only going to invest in one computer, a desktop computer is a lot easier to make more robust. You could put in upgrades such as an improved video card. You can add more memory. It'll be a lot easier for you to fine-tune your system. Do keep in mind that when you launch Premiere Pro, it will scan your computer and make any recommendations about issues that it encounters. You also may find that if you have a computer from HP or Dell, they have a utility built in that can scan your computer and make system configurations or changes that are recommended for Adobe Premiere Pro. All right, let's go ahead and get started.